We have engaged the Borg.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife Karina from beautiful Venezuela. And we went through the K1 visa process just like you guys are going through the K1 visa process. And today is February the 10th, 2024. So if you're watching this video in July of 2024, this form will be obsolete, which I'm going to go over, which is the Affidavit of Support, USCIS Form I-864. So this is how to fill out the USCIS Form I-864, the Affidavit of Support. But remember, guys, ladies and gentlemen, in July 3rd, I believe, is when they're going to update all the forms, and they're going to update, and they're going to raise, on April 1st, they're raising all the prices. They're going to raise all the prices for green cards and everything, K1 visas, B2, whatever. It's all going up in price. But this form you can use until July 3rd, as of now. It expires, according to this form, December 31st, 2023, with an addition date of December 8th, 2021. But it's all going to change. But the basic thing you got to learn is how to fill this form out. So let's go over page 1. Okay. On page 1, you're gonna start here. Look for the start here. Look for start here. Do not touch anything above the start here. Okay. And you type this form on your computer or in black ink. Part 1. What's the basis for filing this form? Well, you're gonna tell immigration that you are financially able to take care of your beneficiary. Okay. You make enough money. 125% plus, way above 125% of the minimum income requirements to take care of your beneficiary. That's what this form is about. So what box are you going to check? Well, if you're the sponsor, okay, if you have petitioned your beneficiary, when I filled out this form for Karina, I put check an X in block 1A. I'm the petitioner. I am filing for the immigration of my relative, now my wife. If you are a joint sponsor, you're going to check block 1D. 1D, okay? Which is, if you're a joint sponsor, and if you're the first joint sponsor or the second joint sponsor, you're allowed up to 2 joint sponsors. If you are a joint sponsor and you live under the roof with your beneficiary, let's suppose you're getting mom to help you with this visa process, this green card process, you're going to fill out Form I-864A. If your joint sponsor doesn't live with you under the same roof, then your joint sponsor and you, Mr. Sponsor, Ms. Sponsor, will fill out Form I-864. So you're going to go to Part 2, information about the principal immigrant. Well, I'm going to put in there Karina's last name, which is my last name, her given name, her middle name, and her mailing address where she lives, right here in Florida. And then other information about her, which is what is her country of nationality? Well, she's from Venezuela. She's Venezuelan. Okay? What's her date of birth? Does she have a USCIS online account number? No, she doesn't. And what's her daytime phone number? Well, she's going to get a cell phone number pretty soon, but I use my cell phone number for right now. So that's page 1. Very easy.
Go ahead and say that.
Huh.
Now let's talk about page 2 of 10 for this Affidavit of Support. Page 2 of 10. You're going to go to number 1 and check yes, you are sponsoring the principal immigrant named in Part 2, which is on page 1. Okay? And you're going to check I am sponsoring the following family members. Okay? Immigrating at the same time or within 6 months of the principal immigrant named in Part 2. That's for K2s if you have any K2 derivatives. Okay? And then you're going to list the names of the family members. Family member 1, family member 2, family member 3, family member 4, etc. Okay? That's page 2. So if you're bringing K2s over, you're going to list those family members on page 2.
Huh.
Now let's go to page 3 of 10 for this Affidavit of Support. Page 3 of 10. You're going to put on block 29. If you look at it on block 29, it says enter the total number of immigrants you are sponsoring on this affidavit, which includes the principal immigrant in Part 2. So if you are bringing just one person over, your wife or husband, you will put a number 1 in block 29. If you're bringing over a K2 or 2 K2s, let's suppose you're bringing over 2 K2 family members plus your wife or husband, then you will put 3 in there. It's your wife, husband, and the 2 children. So number 3 will go in block 29 if you are sponsoring 3 family members or 3 people. They're trying to calculate your family size, okay? But if you're only bringing one person over, on page 3 of 10, block 29, part 3, you will put the number 1. If you cannot put it, if the computer won't allow you to put the number in there, you can use your black ink pen and write it by hand. Part 4 is information about your sponsor. Okay, you're going to put in the sponsor's full name. So that's me. Page 4 is all about you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. I put in my name, Ross Diego, and then my middle name. And then in care of, there's no in care of, so that doesn't apply. And then I put my address. What's my mailing address here? What's my physical address? Karina lives with me. She's my wife, right? She's my wife. This is her house. This is my house. This is the family house. So I put my address in there, our address, the physical address and the mailing address. And then other information is country of domicile. Well, it's the United States, right? You live in America. My date of birth, where I was born, my state or province of birth, my country of birth, and USCIS, my social security number goes in number 10 on page 3. My social security number. And then what citizenship or residency status do I have? Well, I'm a U.S. citizen. So I check the little X in block, U.S. citizen. Okay? I don't have an online account. I don't worry about that. And then it goes on to say about military service. And I am currently on active duty in the armed forces of the Coast Guard. No, I'm retired from the Navy. So I put no there. So that's page 3. Now let's go over page 4 of 10 of the affidavit of support. Now remember, this form is going to probably change soon, so this is just informational purposes only to teach you how to fill out the form. Make sure you use the correct edition date and the correct, the correct year or whatever it is on your form that you're going to be using for your green card application. This is the affidavit of support. So now you're on part 5, okay? The sponsor's household size. How big is your household size? If you brought one person to the United States of America, okay, you're going to put 1 in part 3, item number 29, okay? You're going to put a 1 in there. And then underneath that, you're going to see an automated generated number 1 for you as the sponsor. You add those 2 numbers together, and you have the total household size of 2. Now the household size is has got an automatic generated number 1 in there. That's not your household size. Get some whiteout and just white it out, very tiny whiteout, piece of whiteout, and put the correct household size in there. Now there's other questions they ask you, like, are you currently married and or one for your spouse? Well, you're not married to a second person. Okay, you're married to your wife, your husband. That goes in part 1, item number 29. So disregard number 3, okay? Part 3, number 3, disregard that. Number 4, if you have dependent children, enter the number here. Well, that would be if other children, like if you have kids that from a previous marriage that are living with you, or if you've sponsored somebody in the past on a green card and you brought over a K2 from another country and you got divorced from that person, and those people are still your dependents on your second K1 visa application if they live in the United States under a green card and they're not a U.S. citizen yet and they haven't accumulated enough Social Security credits. Okay, so for the majority of you folks watching this, okay, on page 4 of 10, you're going to put the household size in part 3, item 29, which is going to be the dependents, your beneficiary, and any kids. And then underneath that, you're gonna see number 1 for yourself, and then you add up those 2 numbers and you put it as a household size. If you just married one person, you married somebody that doesn't have any kids, your total household size is going to be 2. All right. Disregard, if you've sponsored any other persons on the Form I-864 or I-864EZ who are lawful permanent residents in America, they're still your responsibility, Mr. Sponsor, even if you are divorced from that person, unless those people have returned back to their home country, or they become U.S. citizens. So for the most of the folks watching this video, all you got to worry about is Part 1, item number 29. How many people did you bring to America? Number 2, yourself. Add those two numbers together and put it as your household size. And then you're going to go on to Part 6, your employment and income information. Okay, are you retired? Are you unemployed? What is your current individual income? Take that off your last tax return. Okay, unless your income has increased, and you can prove that with bank statements, pay stubs, etc. And then if you're using anybody else who's counted in your household size, you put those persons' names under there. But that's probably not going to apply to any of you guys, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're on page 5 of 10 of the Affidavit of Support, Form I-864. Part 20 says, my current annual household income is. Okay, so you're going to total up all the lines from Part 6 on items 7, 10, 13, 16, and 19, okay, which is on page 4. So what's your current annual income? Basically, it's your last income tax return. How much money did you make on your last tax return? Okay. Federal income tax return information. So in 24A, Part 24A, you're going to put in there the tax year. That's for me it will be 2023. And then how much money I made in 2023, because I've filed my taxes for 2023. Then below that is going to be 2022, and then 2021. So for my application, Affidavit of Support, I will include tax year 2021, 2022, 2023. But I'm only going to include a copy of my 2023 tax return. Okay? So let's suppose you're in 2024 and you filed your 2023 taxes. It will be 2023, 2022, 2021. How much money did you make in 2023? How much money did you make in 2022? And how much money did you make in 2021? You don't have to provide copies or tax transcripts of the second or third most recent tax return, but you do on the most recent. And if you're going to use assets to supplement your income, you can do that if you want to. You can, if you don't have to, if your income is way above the minimum income requirements, you don't have to. But enter the balance of all savings and checking accounts, real estate holdings, the value of your house, not the mortgage on your house. If you have a $250,000 house and you have a $50,000 mortgage, the equity in your house is $200,000. That's how much you put in there for the house value. And get Zillow.com or some other company or a real estate agent or somebody to give you a market analysis on the value of your property. Include all that with your green card application if you're going to use your house value. And then you add up those numbers for Part 4, and that gives you the total value of your assets. Okay? If you're going to fill out Form I-864A, if you have a joint sponsor who lives with you, then you're going to put the name of the relative and that person's assets information. Okay? So that's basically page 5. It's not hard, guys. So if you're gonna, now we're going on to page 6 of 10. Okay, we're almost there. Hang in there, guys. Be patient. Be patient during this video. That's a lot of information. On page 6, you're going to add together all the assets values from page 5, and then you're going to put the total value on part 10 of page 6 of your assets. If you choose to use your assets, and read over the rest of this information on page 6 so you understand what it is you're doing when you are including your assets in this paperwork. Moving on to page 7, part 8, sponsors contract statement, contact info, declaration, certification, and signature. On this page, you're going to check the box, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. If you are an American that reads and writes and understands English fluently, you're going to check box 1A, that you can read and understand English. Okay? If you need an interpreter, if you are an American citizen that can't speak English and you need an interpreter, you're going to put that person's name right there in 1B, Part 9. Okay? Or the preparer, if you need a preparer, if you can't figure out how to fill this form out, even though it's easy. And then you're going to put the sponsor's contact information, which is my phone number, my cell phone number, my email address, okay? And then read the declaration and certification for the sponsor. Page 7 of 10. Almost there. Now we're on page 8 of 10 of the affidavit of support, okay? Sponsor's signature, block 6A. Sign your full name, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. Don't put a doctor scribble in there. Don't put a cheesy signature in there. You sign your full name so somebody at immigration can read it. Okay? Include your middle name. Alright? And underneath that, you're going to put the date, which is the month, the day, and the year. If you put a cheesy signature in there that nobody can read, you'll get it sent back and you'll be told to resubmit. If you used an interpreter, put the interpreter's family name, given name, etc. underneath, and the mailing address of your interpreter, contact information, and to interpreter's certification. Okay? You got it? But I would say 99.9% of everybody filling out this form can speak and read and write English. Now let's go to page 9 of 10, affidavit of support. This is to prepare his full name. You are the sponsor. If you filled out this form, Mr. Sponsor, you are not the preparer. You are the sponsor. So you just put NA, NA, NA. NA, 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 NA. Totally everything is NA. Because if you are the sponsor and you filled out this form, then you are not the preparer. If you hired somebody to fill out this form because you can't understand it, okay, but you understand it now, right? Because you've just watched this video, that's when you put the preparer's information in there and have him or her sign his or her full name and date it.
Exactly. Why not just use real cavemen?
Now let's do the last page, page 10 of 10 of the affidavit of support, USCIS form I-864. If you want to put any additional stuff and you want to tell immigration anything else that you couldn't fit in page 1 through 9, here's where you do it. Okay, but make sure you put your name on here so that immigration knows, in case this form gets detached and goes off somewhere else, they know who the form belongs to. And you put in, you can put in any additional information that you want to say. You lost your job, then you got a new job, your income went up from this amount to this amount, you changed jobs, or whatever it is you want to tell immigration. Page 10 to 10 is where you update or include additional information. We hope this video was helpful to you. Don't make this hard, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not hard to do this paperwork. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of attention to detail. Don't forget, I do a live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Miami time, 5 p.m. Albuquerque time, 4 p.m. Los Angeles time. It's a live stream. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you any legal advice. I just go over information from experience. I've got 9 years of experience in the K-1 visa nightmare, and this is my second K-1, and I went through the spousal, and I went through K-2. I can write the book on K-1 visas and green card applications. My beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela, she's happy to be here in Florida, and she sits patiently through these videos with me, sitting there, very pretty, and correcting me when I make mistakes, and I edit that out so you don't see it. See you at the live stream.
I'll be back.